In this video, I will show how to configure static route in Mikrotik, Cisco and Juniper routers. Both IPv4 and IPv6 static route will be set up on all the routers. For our task, each devices should reach each other upon configuration of stating routing protocol on all the routers. Refer to the diagram for the IPv4 and IPv6 network addresses and ports assignment. Let us start with the first network on Mikrotik router side. Input both the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses on PC1. Next, in Mikrotik router, configure both IPv4 and IPv6 addresses on the interface facing PC1. Check the connectivity between PC1 and the Mikrotik router. Let us continue with PC2 facing the Cisco router. Input both IPv4 and IPv6 addresses. In the Cisco router, configure the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses on the interface facing PC2. Check the connectivity between PC2 and the Cisco router. Let us proceed with the last network on Juniper side. Configure the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses of PC3. Configure the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses of the interface in Juniper facing PC3. Check the connectivity between PC3 and the Juniper router. Now let us finish the initial setup by configuring the point-to-point IPv4 and IPv6 addresses between the routers. In the Mikrotik router, the interface facing the Cisco router is Ethernet 2. In the Cisco router, configure Gigabit Ethernet 00 facing the Mikrotik router. Check the connectivity between the Mikrotik and Cisco routers. Then configure both the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses of interface Gigabit Ethernet 01 facing the Juniper router. To finish the point-to-point setup, configure the interface facing the Cisco router of the Juniper router. We are done with the basic configuration. We can now start the configuration of static route on all the routers. Before that, let me show you the syntax for configuring static route. The command is IP route followed by the host address or prefix with subnet mask of the destination address, then the next hop address or the outgoing interface of the router. This syntax is applicable regardless of the vendor or brand of the router. The concept is just the same. Before we proceed, let us correct the IPv4 address of the Juniper interface facing the Cisco router. Refer to the details on the diagram for the IPv4 and IPv6 destination addresses of each network. The next hop addresses are also included. Let us start with the Mikrotik router. Configure static route towards the LAN network of PC3 and PC2. Also include the network of the link between the Cisco and Juniper routers. Let us proceed with the Cisco router. Create static route towards the LAN network of Mikrotik and Juniper routers. Last to configure is the Juniper router. Create static route towards the LAN network of Mikrotik and Cisco routers. Also, create route to the network link between them. We are done with the configuration of static routing protocol in all the routers of our network. Let us verify if we can detect the route of the remote networks in each router. In Cisco router, both the LAN networks of the Mikrotik and Juniper router are now reachable. In Mikrotik router, we can see that the remote networks are also detected. The same status with the Juniper router. Both the LAN networks of the Mikrotik and Cisco routers are reachable. Both the IPv4 and IPv6 networks are now reachable in each router. Let us check the connection from PC1 and in the Cisco router. In PC1, PC2, and PC3 are now reachable. In Cisco router, both the IPv6 networks of the Mikrotik and Juniper routers are now reachable. I hope that this is informative to you and thank you for watching.